All right, we are live.
Yes, we are.
Hey, John, nice to see you again. Welcome back, everybody. Real Estate Thoughts with John and Cari. Today, we are going to have a conversation because we shared this with you. We come out live every Tuesday. Last Tuesday, we weren't live because we did kind of a special exclusive call with just our contacts and the people that we're in business with kind of the market of the moment and what we needed to help them with. And we'll do that occasionally. So if you want to be on that list for some of those exclusive Zoom calls, make sure you message John or I. But we're back on the live Facebook Lives again, bringing our thoughts to you guys. And usually when we do this, John and I, literally, we told you this before, we come together and we say, what have we been talking about this week? What are people asking us? What are we hearing? And how can we bring it out to our followers and our friends here on Facebook? And so that's what we're going to do today, because, you know, John, you and I are excited about this movement in our industry from the traditional brokerage to the virtual brokerage, the cloud-based brokerage. You know, sometimes people looked at us like, you guys are crazy. Why did you move over to EXP? I know I got looked at like I was cross-eyed, you know, almost 3 years ago when I made the move. And at the end of the day, I think as visionaries, and you and I are that type of a person, it's like we could feel that there was things changing. We were also really in tune to the industry, being leaders, and I think that makes a difference. It's like we were feeling like there is a shift happening, even when a lot of other people in the industry weren't feeling it.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's pioneers before us. There's people that have been at these cloud brokerages many years before us. But this is where we are today. And we're not here for any other reason than we believe this was the future of real estate. This is the future of real estate. We needed to equip ourselves in that space and not be left behind. So we find ourselves at eXp Realty, which of course everybody knows is a cloud brokerage, a virtual brokerage. And there's now some others coming up behind us, which is of course what's always going to happen. There's going to be more of the same when something works. And what we're seeing is so many people, producers, moving from these traditional brick and mortar brokerages, John, over to eXp, to Real, to Epic, to some of these other companies. And eXp is obviously the longest standing, and we've been around the longest because we were really the pioneers of it. And so part of our job, me and John, is to go out there and find out what are our competitors doing. Any good leader does that. Any good agent should do that. And so today we've been wanting to unpack a little bit about what are those differences between the two big players, I would call them. And the only reason why is because it seems to be this is where most of the people are moving to. And John, correct me if I'm wrong, that would be eXp Realty and Real Broker.
Oh, yeah.
And so you and I get those questions all the time, like, why are you at eXp versus Real? Or what's the differences? Why should we go here? And look, you guys, we're going to unpack it with fact, and everybody's going to go where they feel is best for them. It doesn't matter. You're going to pick where you go, but as a business owner, you have to have the facts. Don't make an emotional decision. Make a fact-based decision for you and your future and your family and your financials. And if you believe that eXp is a place that you're interested in, come talk to John or I, and we'd be happy to unpack all of those facts and show you those things so you can make an educated decision. That's all we're going to do today. And John is the best man to do that. And so I'm super excited. I know I'm going to learn something from you. I know a lot about both of these brokerages, but I think you even have studied it more than me. So anything else that you want to add to this little intro as far as our purpose for our call today?
Well, you know, it's interesting. It's funny because, you know, I laughed when you said I've done a lot of research. That's true. But at the same time, you don't have to really go out and seek this information. It kind of just shows up, you know, in social media, on YouTube. And I mean, some of it's good, but some of it's not. And I think I want to start there. So one of the things that I'll never do is I'll never post a video that starts with a title, why so-and-so left blank brokerage to join eXp Realty, right? eXp is a platform that I choose to run my real estate business, to build my business that creates wealth for my family, legacy wealth, and it also creates that opportunity for the agents who partner with you and I, Cari, to do the same thing. However, I'll never go online and promote why somebody left a brokerage to join eXp. I just think it's bad taste. So let me start there. Now let's break down the cloud brokerages. So you've got eXp started in 2009. Real Broker has been around for about 10 years now. I'm pretty close to being spot on with that. EXP grew from 5,000 agents to 80,000 agents. Most of that growth took place between 2018 and 2022. EXP is currently at 89,000, 90,000 agents. Real Broker kind of hovered around 5,000 agents, 7,000 agents for a long time. And then recently they've had a growth spurt and they've grown to 16,000 agents.
Yep.
Now they changed their revenue share model in 2023, and that had a lot to do with their growth. Good for them. We'll get into a little bit more of that conversation here in just a second. LPT is at about 10,000 agents, so they're competing at a pretty good level, and good for them. What makes LPT different is they have pretty much two brokerages within one. They have the traditional 80-20 split, and then they have the 100% brokerage, which makes up about 90% of their agents, by the way, just more fact. And most recently, we've heard about Epic.
Yep.
I don't know that much about Epic other than they're at about 1,700 agents. It took them about 4 years to get there. Maybe it was 3 years. And they give you free car washes. So I know that. And I'm not making fun of them. I just know that's one of their things, right? Free car washes. So here's another thing that happens in our industry, Cari. We get into these retention conversations and you see different agents talking about retention. And I think everybody has to understand retention and how it works, first of all. So on average, about 30% of agents are going to change brokerages every year.
Wow.
Now, if you're just starting out, in other words, you just build a brand new business, we'll use LPT because it's one of the newest ones.
Yeah.
Your retention numbers are going to be better than those companies that have been around for 10, 15 years. It's just math.
Right.
It's also math that if you have 12,000, 15,000, 20,000 agents, you're going to have fewer agents leave than if you have 100,000.
Right.
It's just, again, it's math. I mean, 30% of 100,000 is 30,000. So when you're growing a real estate business, you have to know, what do I need to gross every month in order to have net growth?
Right.
It's all part of the conversation, right?
It's business building, which is math. Yeah.
100%. It is. So when you're growing your real estate business, you have to take those retention numbers into consideration.
You do.
All right. Are agents leaving EXP? Yeah, they are. Are there more agents leaving EXP than Real Broker, LPT? Yeah, of course. There's more agents. So again, it's just math. I don't want to keep saying it's just math, Cari, but it's...
That's the name of this episode. It's just math.
It's math, right? So when I was a team leader for Keller Williams Realty for 7 years, I was a team leader with Keller Williams as they grew from 130,000 agents to 180,000 agents. Today, I think they're at about 160.
Yep.
They're going to lose more agents than anybody else.
Right.
It's not because they're a bad company. I'm not saying that. It's because they have more agents.
That's right. It's a numbers game. Yeah.
Now, as a team leader for Keller Williams, we knew what we needed to gross every month in order to hit our net growth goal.
Yep.
And that's part of being a team leader. So I think if any of our listeners out there are building a business, one of the things that I would share with them is people are going to leave.
Yep.
All right. And they leave for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
And if you study the agents who are leaving, most of them have very little production.
Yep.
Your agents who are top producers, who are hitting their goals, they're not leaving at the same rate that everybody else is. Now, I'm not saying they don't leave, because they do. We know that, right? All right. My position has always been every real estate brokerage is the right brokerage for the right person.
Yep.
Okay. EXP may not be the right brokerage for you, but it is for Cari and I.
Yep.
Real may be the right brokerage for you, and it's not for me, and it's not for Cari.
Yep.
That doesn't make you wrong and me right. It makes you, you, and me. And every real estate brokerage is the right brokerage for the right agent.
At the right time.
Here's the other thing. I have an abundance mentality. So you're not my competition.
No,
The only person I'm competing with every day looks at me in the mirror in the morning when I'm getting ready for work.
that's right.
I have my standards just like you have your standards, Cari. And,
Yep.
and my standards have absolutely nothing to do with anybody else. So when you're not competing with anybody else, you can't lose.
That's right.
You could fall short of your goals, but you didn't lose. I think one of the problems that the real estate industry has is leaders in our industry are playing a finite game, right? And real estate, like any other business, is not a finite game. It's an infinite game.
Yep.
The goal of an infinite game is not to win, it's to keep playing.
Yep.
And I can't beat my competition out of business,
No.
nor would I want to.
Right.
My only goal is to keep playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm going to pause just because I talk too much, and
No, that's good.
I'm
I
going
mean,
to
it's
turn it
good.
back
It's
over
the
to you.
mentality we should all have right now. You guys, this mentality is very important for a lot of reasons. I think it's very important for realtors to really understand the abundant mindset, to really hone in what is their own mindset, and to realize this isn't a finite game. Do you want to keep playing the real estate game or not? Because if you do, you need to level up and you need to make sure you're at the right place for you. And then you need to continue to strive for some high standards that you create for yourself that has nothing to do with anybody else. And you need to set yourself in a place where you're around people that are doing that. That's my opinion. All of those things. If you're going to stay in this game with the changes, then you might want to be looking at that. And we're seeing a lot of people making changes right now. So I like this conversation because people are out there thinking, I probably should go to a virtual brokerage. I probably should look at a cloud-based brokerage. I probably should keep more money in my pocket. I probably should focus on my own brand. I probably should do some of these things, make money in different ways. And I probably should focus on the future of real estate. I think there's a lot of people, John, out there that deep down in their hearts and minds, they are really considering this and they just don't know what to do. And it is a bit of a hard thing to make a change. But what we'd like to do is help you to decipher, to John's point, there's no right or wrong. It's just what's going to be right for you. And so before we end the call, I do want to go through a few of the points because we hear a lot of questions like, well, why wouldn't you go to real brokerage? Because you can make more money in the revenue share. Or you don't have a monthly fee. None of those things really are exactly accurate because it's not comparing apples to apples. It's comparing apples to oranges in a lot of ways. So we'll kind of round it out for you guys because we've had so many conversations with people about that, trying to determine what's right for them.
Yeah.
We hope we can just bring you some facts so that you can not get lost in the abyss of a bunch of YouTube videos that really don't break it down correctly, because there is a lot of that out there too.
Sure. Yeah. So quickly, first of all, get this book.
Yes.
Platform Revolution. It's an absolute must read, everybody. Read this book. Now, the whole idea behind these platform models, and I'll just use JCPenney as an example. Everybody remember that? I don't know. Did they have JCPenney's in Idaho? Okay.
I don't know, but they did in Minnesota where I grew up.
Okay,
Yes,
but
they sure did.
not anymore. They don't exist.
Yep.
So the whole idea behind the traditional business model is you have the company, then you have shipping, you have bricks and mortar retail space, big money here. And then of course you have staff that is working that space, and that's also big money. And then you have the customers down here at the very bottom.
Yep.
And what Amazon did is Amazon came along and they eliminated all of these things, especially this. And they brought you and I up here, Cari, where we're directly in partnership with the company. And now you and I can order whatever we want from the comfort of our home and have it delivered to the front door the next day. Same thing is true with Netflix. I mean, you can still go to your local grocery store and they got this red box out front and you can rent a movie, but you don't. You just turn on Netflix and watch a movie. You could go out on the street corner and look for a taxi, but you don't. You just get on your phone and order an Uber. And the same thing that's happening in the real estate space. So Glenn, what he did back in 2009 is he took a look at this and said, how is this going to affect the real estate industry? And he created this platform model that was the first in the industry, where he eliminated all of those things that exist in the middle regional owners, franchise owners, bricks and mortar, rent and staff, and he brought the agents up in a 50-50 partnership with the company. And it's worked so well that now we have other companies that are doing the same thing. Now, are all of those companies created equal? No, they're not. And I'll turn it back over to you with that, Cari.
Yes, no company is ever going to be the same as another because the leaders aren't the same. The vision is not the same. Now, the concept of the platform and the cloud brokerage and giving us the accesses and keeping more of our money and those sorts of things. Yes, that concept is the same. But remember, oftentimes I believe that people don't leave or join companies, they leave or join people. But what they
Sure.
are joining right now is the cloud-based brokerage model, the platform model, because it makes more sense for the agent.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for them to not have to pay for a bunch of things in the middle that they don't get value from anymore, just like the JCPenney example.
Sure.
And so now that people are coming to that realization, they're having the choices. Where do I go? Is it EXP? Is it Real? Is it Epic? Is it LPT? And there's probably going to be more that come from that. And they will not all be created equal, just like the brick and mortar brokerages were not all created equal and aren't, and did different things and brought different value. So I'd like to really quickly just unpack a couple of the examples, if you're open to it and willing, because you're pretty knowledgeable. A couple of the things between Real and EXP, and we're just focusing on these two because John and I get those questions, and I think those are the two that are really competing at the highest level in this moment. Doesn't mean the others aren't important, but from a national perspective, I know LPT is really growing regionally in some areas, but from a national perspective, if you talk to people, it's like EXP Realty and Real Brokerage if they're considering moving to a cloud-based platform, right? So what are some of the distinct differences that you're noticing in your research that would be important for people to maybe just dive into a little bit more? I have a few of them that I think are important, but what would be a couple that you have on your radar?
Well, not in order of importance,
Yep.
just in the order they're coming to mind. So let's start with monthly fees.
Yeah.
EXP has an $85 per month fee, right? Now, that monthly fee includes all of the training and support that they receive. It includes KV Core. It includes quite a few other things. Real Broker is going to tell you there's no monthly fees.
Right.
However, in reality, there's a $250 fee on the first 3 closings, which totals $750 a year. And then there's a $40 per fee every month for your CRM. So at the end of the year, you're actually paying more a year for those same things than you would if you were at EXP. I think it's just it depends on how you want to package that. To me, it goes back to infinite versus finite. The only reason that I would create a no monthly fee value proposition is in order to attract more agents and be more competitive. I'm fine with that. But do it in a way that has some validity and credibility to it.
Yeah, because because the agents are still spending money. It's not like they aren't spending money.
Yeah.
It's just called something different. So again, remember, when you're doing this, don't just hear no monthly fee and assume that that saves you money. Go figure out what fees are over here and what fees are over here, do the math, and then make the decision for yourself. Now, at the end of the day, if you're splitting hairs over $500 a year or even $1,000 over a year, I don't know, are you trying to step over pennies for, that's just my opinion. Maybe not. It all adds up. I understand that. And nothing's free. That's all I got to say.
Well, let's do this. So I get where you're coming from. And let's just say, okay, according to the National Association of Realtors, the average real estate agent sells 4 homes a year, which is wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
There's the number was actually much lower last year.
No.
So let's just say that, both brokerages are filled with real estate agents that are doing better than the average. And let's say they're selling 5 homes a year. So for those agents who are selling 5 homes a year, if I go 2 or 3 months without having a closing or 4 months without having a closing, no monthly fees is attractive, right? But at the end of the year, if I'm paying more money because I'm paying $250 on the first 3 closings, plus I'm paying $40 a month for my CRM, it's still side by side. I'm spending more money at Real than I am at EXP. Absolutely. The other thing that everyone is going to look at when it comes to comparing these two companies is the revenue share model, right? And the whole idea behind revenue share, Cari, is it's set up by Glenn, who's the first to do this, on what he calls a 50-50 initiative, which means 50% of the company dollar is going to go towards rev share.
Yep.
Now, company dollar at EXP is $16,000 cap, so that's the maximum amount of company dollar that EXP is going to collect from any one agent, and 50% of that is $8,000. Right. And you and I know it works. The market knows it works. It's been a very successful model that's worked for us for a long time. Now, Real has a revenue share model as well. They want to be more competitive, so they're going to make it look more attractive, which is fine.
Yep.
The challenge is this. They're collecting 15% with a $12,000 cap. So their cap is lower and their split is a little better for real estate agents. All right, if you want to do a side by side, just look at that. Good for Real.
Yep.
However, when you look at the rev share model, the first two levels equal 9% of that 15% they're collecting. So they're already breaking the 50-50 initiative, which means they're setting their company up for failure. And they're setting their company up to lose money, which could be, I'm not saying it is, but could be a big part of the reason why they lost $40 million in 2023.
Yep.
Is it sustainable? I don't think so. I think the model has to change or they continue to lose money. Now, when you look at the first three levels, that they total 12%. So you're giving 12% of the 15% you're collecting back to the agents in revenue share. I mean, the agents are sign me up all day. I'll take it.
But how long will it last?
There, from the brokerage's perspective, from their point, can they continue to do this?
No.
Well, I think it's clear and obvious. The answer is no.
Right.
And the company will do one of two things. And you know, I'll be a prophet. Just pay attention because I'm going to be right. The company's either going to change the model, or they're going to lose so much money they're going to eliminate rev share altogether.
And either way, what you're moving into in this moment isn't going to be what is in your future. And that's a bit of uncertainty. I had a conversation with some agents, John, and, you know, this might be a little bit of a different perspective because I'm not, 20 years old anymore. I'm pushing 50 and I've been doing this for a really long time, just like you. And I am, a risk taker to some degree. And I also want some stability if I'm going to build something at the same time at this venture of my life. I think in general, I probably would have, but more so now. But I was looking at these side by side. And when I was looking at the model really not being sustainable, when I look at the reality that that company hasn't turned a profit in their existence yet, even through the time of COVID, which everybody was turning a profit because like everybody was really doing well. That makes me very nervous because I'm building an organization inside of an organization that then I'm not sure is going to be stable for me. And more importantly, for the people I'm responsible for that I'm really believing are going to come in and take advantage of something. The second piece of that was the whole stock thing. I mean, some people, take it or leave it. It's up to you if you find that to be important. I personally love the fact that when I sell a property, I'm now taking some money, making money on my money and making it work for me in another way. Again, I might be looking a little bit more towards the last phase of my career, but man, if I could have done this 10 years ago, my life would look a whole lot different to the tune of probably, well, I could tell you over $1 million because people that have done this 5 years ago, that's what they had in their stock. But my point is that how stable is any of this from a revenue share model to stock to anything, to staff, being able to keep the staff supporting you to anything if you can't turn a profit, all of that is unstable in my mind. Therefore, I'm putting all of my efforts towards something that I'm not sure is going to really come to fruition. Now, I could say that about any company. Anything can change. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But I do like to look at facts in terms of, well, here's what companies have been able to do so far, because typically history does help us to see what's going to happen in the future. So for me, I just felt that was unstable. If somebody asks me, it's not anything bad about the company. I'm just not really willing to put all of my efforts and my leadership and bring people into a company that I can see that there's a lot of instability. That's just my perspective, nothing right or wrong.
Yeah, I get it. And, I look at these stocks every day, right? And, are they up? Are they down?
Yeah.
What's happening? And
Yeah.
You know, one of the arguments that our detractors would use against us is EXP stock is down, right? And we've seen our best days when it comes to stock. You know, it's never going to hit $100 a share again. So first of all, the value of the stock is down, fact.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you look at all of the real estate companies that are traded publicly, EXP is still traded at the highest amount per share in the real estate industry. Okay. And the market cap at $1.6 billion is still the highest market cap of any real estate company in the industry. I think all real estate companies are struggling right now when it comes to stock values.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Secondly,
Yeah.
the future of real estate. You and I talked about this just a moment ago. We both believe that the future of real estate is a cloud-based platform business. That if we were looking at the industry 2-3 years from now, it's probably going to consist of 2 or 3 major players at the top.
Right.
This is what typically happens when you have a platform revolution. Again, read that book.
Yes.
You usually have 2 or 3 major players that stand out at the end. So for example, I've got my iPhone, right? Monica has an Android, and those are basically the only 2 options that exist today. If you go back 20 years, you had a dozen different options. Today, you have a dozen different options when you look at all the different real estate brokerages that are out there. I think the future, 2 or 3 years from now, there's going to be 2 or 3.
I agree.
Okay. And nobody is situated better than EXP is to be at the top of that list. So when you look at where we're at today with 90,000 agents, I think the future of EXP could easily be 200, 250,000 agents.
I think
Now,
so too.
when that happens, what's going to happen to the value of the stock?
That's right.
It has to go back through the roof again. Again, it just makes sense. So if I'm betting on this, and I am, I'm
Literally,
betting that I'm betting that EXP stock is going to go way, way up. Somebody asked me the other day how I feel about the EXP stock going down, and my response was, I hope it goes down further. You know, if anything, go as low as it can go so I can buy as much as I can buy. And I'll make a whole bunch of money when I sell it. If I own EXP stock and the value of the shares goes down, have I lost any money? No.
No.
You don't lose money until you go to sell.
That's right.
So.
Well, and I mean, you and I are getting gifted stock daily. So yeah, let's get it as low as possible so that those giftings go as far as they can. Because again, you and I are thinking in a much longer term game, right? We aren't thinking, you know, day to day and tomorrow. And I think that is a little bit of a challenge in, you know, some people's mindsets. And I understand that because in all transparency, at different times in my life, I've thought a lot more short term because of the situation I was in. And there's always going to be those moments. And I think we have a lot of realtors out there, whether they're top producers or not, that are thinking a little bit short term because there's a lot of changes happening. There's not only changes happening in our industry from the platform model taking over. I mean, you know, for people who've been at brick and mortar businesses for a long time, this is scary for them because they're just nervous about the change, but it's happening whether you like it or not. So you find the people that you can link arms with that will help you to migrate into the platform model, because to John's point, pretty soon that's what you're going to have, right? So don't resist reality. Just find the people that can help you make the moves that are necessary if you want to stay playing the game of real estate. And the other thing is that, you know, the changes in obviously you know, just our economy in real estate and our industry are making people think very short term and being nervous. But remember that when you move yourself into some of these models, you have so many more resources because these companies are putting their money towards resources to help you be able to do the things and make money in different ways and open your ability to sell real estate from one location to all over the world. You can literally get paid. You can do so many different things. And we'll do a talk on this and like, what are some of these platform companies doing to help the agents be successful in this changing real estate industry, because they are putting their money in those places instead of in the brick and mortar that you guys don't go to anyways, but you're just used to and don't like change. So
Cari,
anyway,
I've got a really good, a really fun little game that I want to play with you before we close.
okay, perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an assignment. That beanie that you're wearing,
Yes,
is that what we call it, a beanie?
it's beanie.
Okay, what's the closest mall to you? What's the name of it?
Mall. Um, believe it or not, we don't really have malls anymore. Is that what you're trying to get at? I'm like,
Yeah, just let's say there was, okay, remember the last mall you went shopping at?
I don't even know what it's called here, like Silverwood or something. I don't even know what it is.
Subwood. Okay, so
Yeah.
your assignment is to go buy a beanie just like the one you're wearing. Now
Okay.
you could either go to Silverwood or you could
Yeah.
go on Amazon to buy that beanie. Which one are you doing?
2 seconds, I'd be on Amazon.
Okay. I could either drive to the brokerage, bricks and mortar, to get the support that I need, or I can jump online and have instant access to all of the support that I need. Which one am I going to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. And people they don't understand. They're not relating it. I mean, here's the thing. You can drive to your brokerage and then your broker's in 2 meetings and you're sitting there for an hour and a half and you're still not getting the answer. And you drove to and from, and it's like, what the heck am I doing? And you're frustrated. And now it's like, I can be in my beanie and my sweatshirt. I can log in and talk to a broker in 2 minutes and I don't even have to go anywhere. And what does that mean for your dollar per hour rate? I mean, some of these things I know we haven't dived into, but think about this. If you're not spending time doing those things, what are you replacing your time with that helps you actually go out there and be better for your clients? If you're more efficient and more effective, it is actually going to be directly proportional to how effective and efficient you're going to be able to be for your clients. And I think that that is what the client is demanding, which is why you have to change your business and put it in a model that is going to give that to you so you can pay it forward and pass it on to your client.
There you
And
go.
that's just the bottom line, if whether you want it or not.
There you go.
Awesome. Great conversation. Thanks for unpacking it with me. And hopefully some of you that have asked us this question, it helped you guys. And we'll see you back here next Tuesday again for more thoughts with John and Cari. See you
Make it a
later.
great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.